Well, good evening, everybody, and look who we have here, Dr. Melayne Maclin. How are you doing, Dr. Mac?
I am doing great, Miss Jackie. I
What?
so appreciate you for having me to I will entertain your audience tonight.
Well, we're glad to have you. You know, we've been together for a long time. We've done many interviews, and one of the biggest investments that we have is our hair, our skin, and
That's
our
right.
nails. That's what women do. Women of color, especially, we spend a fortune
Right. We
on.
take pride in all three,
Yes,
especially that
yes.
hair, because we feel we can cover up some skin issues, but we got to get that hair in order.
You know that's right. You can't go out looking raggedy.
That's
So,
right.
I'm just gonna start real quick. How did you decide to get into the hair industry?
Well, my passion has from since I was a little girl. My passion was always to be actually a hairstylist. But of course, I have a family full of doctors, and of course, my mother would say, "Well, you either going to get an MD degree like me or a dental degree like your dad." I said, "Okay, Mom, I'll be a hair doctor." So, I knew that in order for me to specialize in hair as a medical doctor, that required for me to do dermatology. So ever since I finished dermatology in '99, I've been focused on more of the research aspect of our hair issues and just being in the forefront of being able to help answer questions and anything that I can do, especially to our women of color, because we've been kind of pushed to the side when it comes to our hair and our skin issues. So
Mhm.
I felt that I needed to fulfill that niche of, reaching women that were not able to go to the doctor for whatever reason, whether they didn't have insurance or maybe they didn't even know what a dermatologist is. So I wanted to bring myself to directly to the people through the multimedia platforms. So it's been very enlightening. I'm going into my 18th year of doing this, and I love it. I love
Wow,
helping people, and it's my passion. So yeah,
18 years. That's a long time. Um,
yeah. Let's
and
hope that Ask Dr. Mag doesn't retire soon, Jackie.
oh well, we hope you don't, because we need your vitamins and we need to keep our hair healthy. Um,
Yes.
so you, I know that you did a lot of research. Talk a little bit about that. You're not just, doing healthy hair, but you're doing your own research and you produce your own line.
Yes, well, I knew once again that we were, really, there was not a lot of focus on our issues, but we had the most hair issues. And so my focus has been especially on women of color, especially focused on the whole hair thinning, because that's a major problem, but really didn't have a lot of solutions. So honestly, you know, I guess it was the latter part of 1997, 98. I guess I'm telling my age, but in any regard, I had an opportunity to work with a product called Viviscal. A lot of folks out there may have heard of it because there's still lots of commercials going on. And they were a European-based company that really wanted to help to infiltrate the U.S. and especially get into the African American market. And so, of course, that was right on target for me because I wanted to find something that was internal that could actually be credible and helpful. And so Viviscal had a lot of already lots of research studies that they'd done for many, many years. But they really wanted to have an African American dermatologist here in the U.S. to really help to brand them. So, I can proudly say that people know about Viviscal here in the U.S., honestly, because of what I've brought to the marketplace for them. And then I constantly advanced that original formula, especially for women of color, which we made into Bella Nutri and launched Bella Nutri in 2004. So Bella Nutri comes with many, many years of research based off of the years of Viviscal, and we just constantly added additional nutrients that were very effective for helping those hair follicles. So yes, it's been an exciting journey of the research and development. I'm always kind of at the cutting edge of what's natural because there's a lot of hair vitamins out
Hmm.
there that honestly, Jackie, that are not really a friend to a lot of us.
Hmm.
And it's leading to a lot of side effects from liver kidney failure, even blindness. So I tell my ladies, you really have to be careful. Just because something says it's natural doesn't always mean that it's still safe and effective and good for you. So this is why, as a medical doctor that's focused on research and development, it's been very important to me to make sure that whatever products that I put out there on the marketplace or that I put my stamp behind, I've looked into it, gave it my stamp, sealed, signed, and delivered stamp of approval to make sure that we're first doing no harm, because that's part of our Hippocratic oath is first do no harm. So, whenever that there's anything as it relates to hair supplements, there's really nothing that I don't really know about. And I take a lot of pride in doing the research and development of not only the supplements, but also, topical products as well.
That's awesome. And one of the things with us, we do so many things with our hair. We do weaves and we do braids and we do perms and all of that. And so, is it healthy?
You know what? All of those are great to do as long as you're doing it in the proper fashion. So let's start with braiding. I have no problem with braids. Braids can be a great protective style. Matter of fact, when a woman gets a weave, I prefer for her to get the sew-in weaves where the hair is braided down. But regardless of what type of braid that you're doing, the key is to not put tension on that braid when it's being braided, because the scalp is very tender, and if you're feeling the stylist as she's braiding your hair and any pulling and tugging, that means that the nerves are being activated in that area, which means that there's a great risk for that follicle, that root, to be damaged. So that when that lovely braid comes out, guess what happens? You might have a lot of lovely pieces of hair on the floor. So the key is make sure that the hair is not braided too tightly. Lots of women wear wigs, not a problem. The key is still making sure that, whatever that you're doing to your hair underneath, that you're properly taking care of it, meaning, cleaning the scalp at least once a week, making sure that you're still moisturizing that hair, properly caring for it. And then, even with the natural styles, there's so many different natural styles out here, from locks to just whatever natural other sort of styles are. The key is that scalp still needs to be properly cleaned. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions in our African American community, because we think, oh, well, I don't want to wash my hair too much because my hair is going to dry out. But I tell folks, when you look at the scalp is skin. And it's just like, if you're not washing your skin every day, it too is going to look dry and get a lot of bacteria, a lot of yeast buildup. Well, think about the skin above the back of your neck, and that's called your scalp. Okay? So think about if you washing your, ask folks, well, how often do you wash your body or the back of your neck? Oh, well, every day, Dr. Maclin, or sometimes some people say even twice a day. And then I'll ask them the question, well, how often do you wash the skin above the back of your neck, which is your scalp? Oh, well, I get my hair washed maybe every 2-3 weeks or whatever. But that's not a good healthy hair practice, because that scalp can be, can end up grow a lot of bacteria, a lot of yeast, especially because of the hair products that we're using on our hair. A lot of these essential oils, a lot of these heavy products, and if they're building up on the scalp, Jackie, what's happening is that yeast is growing everywhere, and the scalp is looking dry, but it's really not dry. It's inflamed, and the scalp is flaking off. So that's why it's so critical that we still practice a regular scalp cleansing routine, not every 2 to 3 weeks, but at least once a week. So those are, so the key is, no matter what type of style that a woman prefers to use, it's just knowing good, healthy hair care practices.
Well, now, I see women with, locks all the way down the back. There's no way they're washing their hair once a week. But right. I've seen some really clean ones, too.
Yeah.
How do they keep those clean?
Well, once again, it's probably going to require for them to, if they can't manage it on their own, they do because the locks have fallen out because of the roots were so inflamed that the lock couldn't even hold onto the head anymore. So also the weight of the lock can pull on. It's almost like, tying a rock to a plant leaf. Eventually that plant leaf is going to be on the floor. And that's the same thing that can happen to the long, heavy locks. The tension is there, it's pulling on those roots, the roots are getting damaged, and then the lock, next thing you know, is off onto the floor or in your hand. So it does require, even though it sounds like those are easy to maintain protective sort of styles, they still require a lot. And you still have to be very much aware of what to do if you want to keep those locks healthy and keep your hair on your head instead of on the floor.
Okay. I know a lady told me that she has her locks all the way down her hair. She says it takes an hour and a half to dry. That's a long.
Because the moisture gets literally locked into the locks, and so it's important that when that hair is washed, that it's thoroughly dried. Otherwise, in between that lock, there's a risk of mold and things of that nature because of the moisture if it's not dried out enough. So yeah, it is a long drying process, but it's certainly worth it for the health of the hair.
Well, if you're just tuning in, we are live with Dr. Melayne Maclin, celebrity dermatologist, who has a list of accolades that it would take the rest of the show. But I'll just say that she is a commentator on, or I don't know if you still are, was a commentator on Steve Harvey's Ask Dr. Mac. She was in Chris Rock's Good Hair. And tell about the magazines that you currently write in.
Yes. Oh, gosh. Let me see. Hopefully I don't leave out any. But actively, actively I'm still the medical director of Hype Hair. Hype Hair is still one of the largest African-American hair magazines. It's not only national, but also international. Black Girl Health Online.
You used to have Sister. Didn't you have Sister?
Sister is no longer in print publication.
Okay.
They still do some online things, but yes, as still a consultant for them. Jamie Foster Brown is still a very close friend. So also I just started writing with a new hair and beauty publication called Hair Stylist for the Nation. Matter of fact, the first issue just launched actually yesterday. So I'm very proud of that. Actually has Nicole Ari Parker on the cover. And we're excited about that project. But Jackie, the list goes on. EBE, which is Evolving Beauty and Elegance. The publisher of that is Marilyn Bell.
Black Women Empowered.
Black Women Empowered. Miss Jackie, one of my favorites, is over that. So, I look forward to doing more of these online sessions. I love it because we've talked on the phone to large groups of your organization, but it's nothing like the video. I'm loving this technology.
Yes, we've come a long way.
We have.
So I know that you have daughters and two beautiful daughters. I want to talk about the issue that you brought out a long time ago, which is chemicals before teenage years. Tell a little bit about that and how that has an impact on our young girls.
Yes, this has really been a deep-seated passion for me, especially to protect our young girls. And ironically, Jackie, when I did the Chris Rock Good Hair filming, me and Chris actually talked for hours about everything. But it was interesting that out of all the 4 hours worth of transcripts that I did for the film, that they selected the part of me speaking on children. But it's so timely because chemicals, the hydroxide chemicals in these relaxers, I don't care if it says kitty perm, mild, texturizer, it still has that hydroxide chemical that actually absorbs through the scalp, and the scalp has a very rich blood supply. So imagine this hydroxide is burning through the scalp into the bloodstream, and lots of research, which has already been documented by lots of researchers out of Boston University and a whole bunch of other universities, that's been credible published studies that show that chemicals before the age of 10. Early puberty. They're getting, then as the years go on, we're going into getting, significant amounts of fibroids. Fibroids in women of color is 2 to 3 times the risk of any other population. So, there's infertility. There's early hysterectomy before the age of 40. And even a slight association with the rise in breast cancer in women of color. So I say all that to say is that the less that we can keep, the more rather, that we can keep these harsh chemicals off of our baby girls, because that's really where my heart is. It's like, as an adult, I'm like, look, you do what you want to do. We can tell you about the adverse effects, but my main passion is protecting these baby girls, letting moms know worldwide that these chemicals that they're doing to help to manage their little girl's hair, and I can understand takes a bit of, patience and timing because of the texture of our hair, but it's so worth it, because if you don't, you're looking at disrupting your little girl's reproductive system, and I know every mother out there, her future love would be to have grandchildren. So I say the best thing to do is avoid chemicals, if at all possible, at least until the age of 16. And I'm saying just try to avoid it altogether if at all possible, because you don't want to risk any possible hormone disruption. The other thing is that if a mother actually has to use that chemical, make sure that scalp is so heavily, protected and based with like a heavy layer of white petroleum jelly or base, whatever the case may be, to reduce the risk of that chemical absorbing through the scalp, because that's the key. The less that chemical can absorb through the scalp, the better that it's going to be, not only for protecting the hair follicles, but also for protecting from getting into the bloodstream and potentially causing that hormone disruption. So it's a serious passion of mine. I have 2 baby girls. One has a straighter, more curly grade of hair, and then my baby has a thicker, heavier texture. And yes, does it take me longer to wash her hair, blow dry it, and flat iron it? Yes, but it's all for the love, for me protecting her body for the future, for the future opportunity for her reproductive system to work properly. Because yes, I want some grandbabies.
I know that's
so
right.
That is, I have this whole campaign, protect our girls, and then, staying, chemical-free curls until, for healthier girls. It's just a lot of, different hashtags that I've used just to really try to cultivate that whole environment and let moms really, try to really catch on to what I'm saying, because a lot of these companies out there, they're not going to tell you. They're just interested in marketing, and they see that, yes, there's a big market to mothers out there to have better manageability of their little girl's hair. And yes, we do need products that can help to manage our hair, but we need products that are safe and not just out here just for the purpose of making money for these companies. So as you can see, my passion really is whatever that I can help to continue the education towards protecting these younger girls through the education of the mothers, education of the grandmothers, education of the dads out here that are single dads that probably don't know much about hair, but it's all about protecting those little girls' hair follicles and their reproductive system.
I remember one of your slogans was straight hair grandchildren.
Yes, it's really this, asking all moms out there, is it straight hair today or grandchildren tomorrow?
Right.
You make the choice. And that really hits home. Because the other piece of this is that is there, there's, because it's a chemical, are you just potentially damaging your little girl's hair follicles for life? And that's the most important thing, that we want to protect them again. But it's all in the consistent education that I'm trying to do, and many of my colleagues are preaching that as well. So any different media outlet that I can have to be able to express those points is very important to me.
Well, I noticed that a lot of women are really going natural. older
Yes.
women, younger women. I go to the Y, and the older women are there, and they got their little afros and all. So I think a lot of people are getting it, and they really are just tired of the chemicals.
Yeah, it's actually a beautiful movement because you know what? Heat can straighten hair. We don't have to rely on the chemicals. The chemicals serve a purpose of permanent hair relaxation because that hydroxide chemical breaks the disulfide bonds, which is what causes the hair to just totally straighten out. But heat, you can train your hair with heat. It just takes a little bit more time. Now, you don't want to overdo it. There's a lot of the different salons, the Dominican salons, they use a lot of heat from that hot blow dry to you name it.
Hmm.
But so there's such thing as overdoing it. But I think at the end of the day, I would prefer for a woman to use heat, which is not going to internally affect our organs versus the chemicals.
One of
Follow
our
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes, one of our fans said, "What would you recommend for young girls' hair?"
Well, there's so many products on the marketplace that help to, because I think what we want to manage. We love our thick hair. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, my hair isn't thick," but think about pre the before you even start perming. That hair was very thick. If you look at new growth, that's thick hair, and it's
Hmm.
beautiful hair. And there's so many wonderful products in the marketplace now that can easily detangle the hair, make it more manageable. So its manageability is the key to make it easier to style. So whatever product that like, I love it as long as it's non-chemical. And I encourage people to always, when we go to the grocery store, we're so used to looking at the backs of our food choices now. We're educated on that now, but we still haven't quite gotten used to looking at the back of the ingredients in our skin products, hair products, and it's so important because these marketing companies can say anything on the labels. A lot of these things are not regulated, you all. So it's up to the consumer to look at the back of a label to see, what is this that I'm putting on my skin? What is this that I'm putting on my hair? Because in that little fine print that's on the back of the label could be really very damaging. So I tell people, be an educated consumer about whatever take that same pride that you're looking at the foods that you're eating. Take that same pride in the topical products that you're putting on your skin and your hair.
Do
Very
you
important.
do you have an actual recommendation, or is there something that you have for young girls?
Not yet. I do have Bella Nutri girls that we've been working on making our Bella Nutri supplement into a chewable. But the development on that has been very difficult because of the marine protein component that's in our capsules to be able to mask that taste.
Mm.
So in the meantime, in between time, parents just open up a capsule and pour the Bella Nutri over into, I tell them, pour it into some applesauce or a teaspoon of yogurt or juice or whatever. But but not quite into the topical arena like the shampoos and conditioners. That we're still on the fence about going into that line because there's so many product companies out there. It's almost saturated right now, especially with the whole natural hair movement. It's too many products out there to even think about. So we kind of prefer to stay from the more internal approach with, making sure that people understand that because your hair and skin start from the inside of your body, it's so important that you do something internally, but also make sure that that too is a safe and effective supplement and not just these basic, what I call imposter hair vitamins out here that are nothing more than, overdose multivitamins with a whole bunch of biotin. And a I'm wondering, why am I getting this bad acne and I'm 30 and 40 years old? I mean, hey, it's because of that high biotin that's in these hair vitamins. You're thinking that the biotin is going to help your hair, which is really not doing much of anything, to be honest with you. And then now you're ending up with horrible skin just trying to get your hair better. So this is why, in as many different ways that I can educate women about what to use when it comes to hair supplements. And Jackie, I definitely thank you because you've certainly given me the platform to just be able to share with your community about Belanutri, which is so important to me. And I just want more people to just listen and hear what I'm saying. I mean, this has been my passion, to be able to help us women of color towards getting our hair back on track and keeping our hair on our head and not the floor, and just educating us so that we become more informed consumers about what we're ingesting for our hair, as well as what we're putting on top for proper cleansing and daily styling. So, no, I appreciate you for just opening up your whole world of followers to be able to share this information.
Well, that's what we do. We empower people different ways. And you've been working with us for a long time, so we call you our Queen Dermatologist.
Yes, I love you all. You all have just been great, and hey, we look forward to maybe some big event. I don't know if that's in your making.
Absolutely, it is. We want to do a big. I talked to Dr. Nikisha Hammond.
Main stage.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I talked to Dr. Nikisha Hammond, who we will be featuring for the whole month of May. She is mental illness.
Okay, I saw that.
And
great.
Yeah, so I talked about bringing you all together and maybe some other doctors to do a health and wellness conference.
Oh, yeah. The psychology of hair runs deep.
Yes.
Some women won't leave their house if their hair isn't right, and boy, it's a lot of hair and skin is psychology based. It really adversely affects a woman's mental wellness, if you will.
Girl, a lot of stuff is psychology based.
Yeah.
But
it's a big deal. So that's awesome. I can't wait to definitely meet her.
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to hook you all up. Tell us what the supplements do.
Well, the supplement is it's a specialty supplement. It's not considered a hair vitamin. Okay, so I definitely let people know, don't even put my product in a category of a hair vitamin. Okay, it's a supplement based off of specific marine protein and collagen as a proprietary blend that helps to, you're taking it internally, 2 capsules a day, and it's helping to get those hair follicles much healthier, more revived and stimulated, so that not only is the hair growing out 2 to 3 times faster and longer, but it's growing out much stronger, so a lot less hair breakage. It's growing out a lot thicker in areas that are thinning, so even balding areas, or even persons that have various forms of non-scarring alopecia. Alopecia is just the medical term for any type of hair loss. So it's working on getting those hair roots back in order, so so overall the hair is just growing much better and thicker and just overall healthier. But then there's also the positive benefits for the skin as well. So there's big with the anti-aging and skin smoothing, folks that have large pores, fine lines and wrinkles, old acne scars, ladies that have stretch marks. So because of the collagen component, you'll start to see those skin benefits even as early as about 2 weeks or so. Hair benefits take a little bit longer, typically anywhere from about 3 to 4 weeks for someone to start seeing some changes. But the key is 2 capsules per day for at least 6 months at a time. The 6 months is critical because scientifically that's the time it takes for those hair follicles to truly get back on track. Even though you'll start to see results much sooner than the 6 months, it's just important that you keep those nutrients going. So it's not something that's just going to happen overnight. And so we emphasize the importance of, staying consistent. And even after the 6 months, we have an extremely high retention rate. I mean, I've had some customers on Bella Nutri that have never stopped every month since we brought the product out in 2004. To me, that speaks volumes. See, there's a lot of products out here that people may buy once or twice or whatever, and they never come back. It's important to me to figure out, well, what can I do to try to retain my customers for, as this is just part of their ongoing health and beauty routine for maintaining great health of their hair follicles and skin from the inside out. So it's just, it has been a challenge for a lot of ladies to understand, wow, do I really need to take something internally, or can I just use these topical products? But realize hair and skin are internal structures that manifest externally. So in order to truly change and improve the way the hair and the skin look, it has to start from the inside. A lot of these topical products are just to baby the outside and just to give you something to do. But it's really when you start changing the internal, you'll start seeing how great the skin can start looking, how great the hair can start looking, and literally just turning back the hands of time on your, on your skin and the hair. So it's critical. The inside is more important than what you're doing on the outside.
That's beautiful. And I know you have a line for men. And I know your poster person is your handsome husband. And
thank you, Jackie.
and his skin and hair look great. So talk a little bit about that.
Yes. Well, Bella Nutri had to have a brother. Okay. So Bo Nutri is his name. That's my son. So basically, Jackie, I have 4 kids, 2 living and 2 non. That's Kayla, Selena, my living baby dolls, baby girls, and then Bella Nutri for women, and then Bo Nutri for men. I launched Bo Nutri in 2008, and specifically targeting the men because I had lots of men like, look, Dr. Mac, what do you have for us? And realizing that the baseline of the formula actually helped men as well, it made sense to put that out there. So with God's blessings, we were able to complete the research and development of that and launch Bo Nutri for men. And when I tell you, my men that are on Bo Nutri, they love it, they love it. The average guy gets 3 to 6 bottles at one time with every order. So not just one bottle, but 3 or 6 bottles, which is 3 or 6 months supply. And they're constant repeat. So, statistically, our men are even more consistent than our women. And it tells me a lot about the benefits of what these men are experiencing, because a guy is not going to keep buying something that's not effective. Women, we're product junkies. We'll buy something once or twice and try this or that. But men, no. If it's not working, he's not going to waste his hard-earned money and stay consistent on something that's not effective. So I take a lot of pride in what the feedback has been from our guys, and it too can definitely helping to improve the skin as far as anti-aging benefits, even helping with razor bumps and skin smoothing. But more importantly, that top crown thinning that men get, is helping to get those follicles back revived and stimulated so that those areas can fill in as well. So once again, it's 2 capsules per day, and it's important to stay consistent at least 6 months at a time. But most men, once they get started, they don't stop. But the thing is, if you stop, it's not as though that you're going to lose the hair the next day. But just like with anything, if you stop nourishing it and keeping it healthy, eventually it's going to start dying off. And so our men love it. It even helps improve the graying of the hair, because gray hair is really not gray. Gray hair is really just hair that's going out without color, because the pigment-producing cells stop working. So once they start taking either the Bella Nutri for women or the Bo Nutri for men, we have, through, hundreds and hundreds of feedback on this, once they start taking the supplement, they start noticing that the color of their hair starts coming back, which is just phenomenal, because that's something that we never expected when we were originally, putting the product together. But that's been a wonderful testimonial by folks saying, do you know my hair isn't growing out gray anymore? And I said, well, it makes sense, because the follicles are starting to healthy again, which means that the pigment-producing cells can start working more effectively, and then whatever your normal color is can start growing in again. So that's a wonderful testimonial that we definitely appreciate.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we have a special promotion going, so tell about our BWE promotion.
We do for all of the all of your platform. We have a special promotion code, which is B, capital B, capital W, capital E, and that would be able to give them $5 off of their order, and that's at the BellaNutri.com website, which is the BELLANUT. Definitely, we want your followers to get on board, and I have to say that folks that get on board with the product, as long as you're on the supplement, I'm happy to answer any questions about the product or any questions that you're having, because it's very important to me that people that get started with the supplement, that they're having the hair and skin success that they deserve. And I know that that's uniquely different than other products out there.
Say the website again. You kind of broke up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Website, BellaNutri.com, or really just drmaclin.com, because that has the BoNutri and the BellaNutri. So Dr. Maclin is DRMACLIN.com. So drmaclin.com, BellaNutri.com, they all go to the same website to be able to order either the BellaNutri or the BoNutri.
Well, you heard it here. We are so fortunate, all of our millions of listeners, that Dr. Maclin would give us a discount on her product that's going to help both the men and the women. So I feel that we are blessed. And I really do thank you for coming on, and you can go back and look at the comments, and if you want to answer questions at later on, go back. That's fine.
Oh, absolutely, I will definitely do that.
And where's our friend? Is he gonna pop up and let him see his dimples or not?
He popped out to go get our baby girls to dance.
Okay. All right, I was
there at the dance studio now.
I was gonna show the what do you call it? You call him your not BellaNutri man. What's the other one? BoNutri man, right?
He's my BoNutri model.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and I feel humbled in saying this. I have a good friend of mine from Chicago that used to always say, Melanie, you keep trying to find these other people to represent your brand, but you and Gary represent your brand, and you're the now go for it. And Jackie, just me and Gary, we've always wanted to be those in the background type of people, because my heart is, how can I help people to get with whatever hair and skin issue. I'm not trying to be the one that's all out there if I don't have to,
Right.
But logically it started to make sense. Like, okay, well, yeah, you know what? Let me get out there and because I'm the best. I can discuss my product better than anybody else, and Gary can discuss BoNutri better than any other man. So this is why we just kind of actively got more involved as the Bella and Bo. So yeah, there's a lot more fun stuff that we're going to be doing with that.
Well, we're going to have you back on and talk about, we're going to have you more regularly so you can talk about all that you're doing. But in the meantime, I just thank you again for coming on. And and our listeners, I hope that you've enjoyed it. The great thing about our videos is that people can come on at their convenience and replay it and play it because it stays on our page forever.
Good.
So, Dr. Mac.
I am happy to answer questions and whatever. I want our women to get our hair back, get our skin looking much better, and really just not be bamboozled by all of the false marketing claims that are out there with so many other products in the marketplace. I'm certainly not one to bash products. I don't like doing that, but I like just being very honest and educating our, having educated consumers, because at the end of the day, it's about the results that we want them to have. And, quite frankly, there's a lot of companies out there that could really care less if you got the results or not. Their primary focus is buying it. Just buy it.
Sell.
You're right. So my integrity and morals and ethics really, dive in with this, because I'm truly about making sure whatever that I put my stamp behind, that it's going to be effective for the person. And if it's not, I'm not putting it out there.
Well, I think you've done a wonderful job. And again, I thank you. And again, Dr. Maclin will be going back to the page. I know you have questions and stuff, so she'll go back on the page and answer your questions and share some information.
I look forward to the next time.
And we will do it again. God bless you, Dr. Melayne.
Okay,
Dr. Melayne Mack, love you.
Love the BWE population. Go to the website. The promo code is BWE.
Amen.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you. God bless.
Okay.